In 1924, a 17-year-old girl discovered an object in the jungles of Belize that would challenge everything science believes about ancient technology. Carved from a single block of pure quartz crystal, the Mitchell-Hedges skull shows no tool marks, no evidence of how it was made, and optical properties that modern technology struggles to replicate. But the mystery doesn't end with its creation. It begins with the strange events that seem to follow wherever this artifact goes. Welcome to Mysteries of Time, where ancient mysteries challenge modern understanding. I'm your host, and today we're investigating one of archaeology's most controversial discoveries, the Crystal Skull of Belize. Found in the ruins of a lost Mayan city, this artifact has divided experts for nearly a century. Is it an ancient masterpiece that proves our ancestors possessed impossible technology, or an elaborate hoax that fooled the world? The evidence is stranger than either explanation suggests. Our story begins in 1924 with British explorer F.A. Mitchell-Hedges and his adopted daughter Anna, then just 17 years old. They were excavating the ancient Mayan city of Lubantun in what is now Belize, searching for evidence of pre-Columbian civilizations in Central America. On her birthday, Anna climbed to the top of a partially collapsed pyramid and noticed something glinting in the debris below. What she discovered would become one of the most controversial archaeological finds of the 20th century. A life-sized human skull, carved from a single piece of pure rock crystal. The skull was anatomically perfect, showing detailed knowledge of human cranial structure. But it was the craftsmanship that immediately set it apart from other archaeological finds. The crystal was flawless, with no visible tool marks, no evidence of how it had been carved, and optical properties that seemed to defy the primitive tools supposedly available to ancient Mayan craftsmen. Mitchell-Hedges initially kept the discovery quiet, unsure what to make of the artifact. When he finally revealed it to the archaeological community years later, it would spark a controversy that continues to this day, dividing experts between those who see it as proof of advanced ancient technology and skeptics who dismiss it as a modern fake. What makes the Mitchell-Hedges skull so controversial isn't just its beauty, but the apparent impossibility of its creation. Carved from a single block of pure quartz crystal, it shows no evidence of modern tool marks, yet its precision rivals contemporary optical instruments. The skull consists of two pieces, the cranium and a separately carved jaw that fits perfectly and moves naturally. The optical properties are extraordinary. Light entering through the eye sockets creates an eerie internal illumination, while certain angles produce rainbow effects and unusual light patterns that seem almost supernatural. Most puzzling of all, crystallographers have been unable to determine how it was made. Quartz crystal is extremely hard and brittle, requiring diamond-tipped tools and careful temperature control to work without shattering. Ancient civilizations supposedly lacked both the tools and knowledge necessary for such precise crystal carving. Modern attempts to recreate the skull using contemporary technology have required months of work with sophisticated equipment, yet the original shows no evidence of the tool marks, heat damage, or structural stress that would be inevitable in any known manufacturing process. It's as if the crystal was somehow shaped without the application of mechanical force. The discovery location at Lubantun connects the skull to one of the most sophisticated civilizations in pre-Columbian America. The Maya were master astronomers, mathematicians, and craftsmen who created complex calendars, built massive pyramids, and developed advanced understanding of optics and light. Mayan legends speak of 13 crystal skulls that supposedly contain the wisdom of their ancestors, hidden before the Spanish conquest to preserve sacred knowledge for future generations. According to these legends, when all 13 skulls are brought together, they will reveal secrets that could transform human understanding of reality itself. Archaeological evidence shows the Maya did work with crystal, creating mirrors, jewelry, and ceremonial objects from various types of quartz and obsidian. However, nothing in the archaeological record approaches the sophistication and size of the Mitchell-Hedges skull, making it either a unique masterpiece or an anachronistic anomaly. Local indigenous people who encountered the skull during its discovery reportedly recognized it immediately, claiming it was a sacred object from their ancestral traditions. Some performed ceremonies in its presence, suggesting the skull had cultural significance that extended beyond its archaeological value. Almost from the moment of its discovery, the crystal skull of Belize has been associated with unusual phenomena that challenge conventional understanding. Anna Mitchell-Hedges, who inherited the skull after her father's death, spent decades documenting strange events that seem to occur in its presence. Witnesses have reported unusual sounds emanating from the skull, chanting, whispers, and musical tones that have no identifiable source. Photographs taken near the skull sometimes show unexplained lights, auras, or distortions that don't appear in images taken elsewhere under identical conditions. Some visitors report experiencing vivid visions or altered states of consciousness when in close proximity to the artifact. These range from historical scenes that seem to depict ancient Mayan ceremonies to more abstract experiences involving lights, colors, and sensations that participants describe as otherworldly or transcendent. Scientific instruments have detected electromagnetic anomalies around the skull that don't correspond to its known physical properties. Temperature variations, electromagnetic field fluctuations, and other measurable phenomena suggest the artifact may have properties that conventional physics doesn't fully explain. In 1970, the crystal skull underwent extensive scientific analysis at Hewlett-Packard's Crystal Laboratories in California. The results were as puzzling as the artifact itself, revealing properties that challenged both archaeological assumptions and materials science understanding. The analysis confirmed that the skull was carved from a single piece of pure silicon dioxide crystal, with no evidence of modern manufacturing techniques. However, the precision of the carving was so exact that HP engineers estimated it would have taken 300 years of continuous polishing to achieve such perfection using primitive tools. More mysteriously, the crystal showed no signs of stress fractures, heat damage, or tool marks that should be inevitable in any known manufacturing process. The optical properties were perfect, with light transmission and refraction characteristics that matched the finest contemporary optical instruments. Computer modeling suggested that carving such an object from quartz crystal without shattering it would require intimate knowledge of the crystal's internal structure and stress points, information that supposedly wasn't available to pre-Columbian civilizations and is difficult to obtain even with modern technology. The scientific analysis, rather than settling the skull's authenticity, intensified the controversy surrounding it. While the evidence confirmed that the skull wasn't made using modern techniques, it also suggested capabilities that seemed impossible for ancient civilizations. Some experts argue that the lack of tool marks and perfect optical properties prove the skull must be a modern creation, possibly made using advanced techniques that leave no evidence. However, no one has been able to demonstrate how such an object could be created even with contemporary technology without leaving detectable traces. The provenance documentation is another source of controversy. While Mitchell-Hedges claimed to have found it at Lubantun, some critics suggest he may have acquired it elsewhere and fabricated the discovery story. However, witnesses to the original excavation, including Anna Mitchell-Hedges herself, maintained the accuracy of the discovery account throughout their lives. Recent investigations have failed to definitively prove or disprove the skull's authenticity. Each test reveals new puzzles while failing to resolve the fundamental questions about its origin, age, and method of creation. The skull exists in a strange evidentiary limbo, where it's simultaneously too sophisticated to be ancient and too unusual to be modern. The Mitchell-Hedges skull isn't alone. Crystal skulls exist in major museums worldwide, including the British Museum, the Smithsonian Institution, and the Musée du Quai Branly in Paris. However, recent analysis has revealed crucial differences between these museum pieces and the Belize discovery. Advanced electron microscopy has shown that most museum crystal skulls bear microscopic tool marks consistent with 19th century European lapidary techniques. These skulls, once thought to be ancient Aztec or Mayan artifacts, are now acknowledged by their respective museums as likely modern creations. But the Mitchell-Hedges skull continues to resist this explanation. Unlike the museum pieces, it shows no evidence of modern manufacturing techniques and possesses optical properties that the other skulls lack. This has led some researchers to suggest that while most crystal skulls are indeed modern fakes, the Belize specimen might represent something genuinely anomalous. The comparison has also revealed that the Mitchell-Hedges skull is significantly more sophisticated in its construction and properties than any of the museum examples. Its anatomical accuracy, optical characteristics, and overall craftsmanship are in a completely different category from the other known crystal skulls. Recent advances in materials science and archaeological dating techniques have opened new avenues for investigating the crystal skull mystery. However, each new test seems to deepen rather than resolve the fundamental questions about its origin and significance. Quantum physicists have begun studying the skull's unusual electromagnetic properties, suggesting it might interact with quantum fields in ways that conventional materials don't. Some researchers theorize that the skull's unique crystalline structure could create resonance effects that influence electromagnetic fields and possibly even consciousness itself. Archaeological techniques like thermoluminescence dating, which can determine when crystalline materials were last heated, have produced inconclusive results. The skull's thermal history is consistent with either ancient creation or sophisticated modern manufacturing designed to mimic ancient processes. Perhaps most intriguingly, ongoing research into the relationship between crystal structures and electromagnetic fields suggests that objects like the skull might have properties that 19th and early 20th century science simply couldn't detect or understand. Modern quantum physics reveals phenomena that might explain some of the skull's more unusual characteristics. The crystal skull of Belize has influenced far more than just archaeological debate. It has become a cultural icon, inspiring spiritual movements, popular entertainment, and ongoing research into the relationship between ancient wisdom and modern science. The skull currently resides with Anna Mitchell-Hedges' estate, where it continues to be studied by researchers and experienced by visitors from around the world. Many report profound experiences in its presence, ranging from healing effects to spiritual revelations that they describe as life-changing. The artifact has also influenced broader discussions about the sophistication of ancient civilizations and the possibility that prehistoric peoples possessed knowledge or technologies that conventional archaeology hasn't recognized. It serves as a focal point for alternative theories about human history and the development of civilization. Whether authentic ancient artifact or sophisticated modern creation, the skull has demonstrated humanity's enduring fascination with mystery, perfection, and the possibility that reality might be stranger than our current understanding suggests. Nearly a century after its discovery, the crystal skull of Belize remains one of archaeology's most compelling unsolved mysteries. Scientific analysis has confirmed its extraordinary properties while failing to explain how it was created, when it was made, or why it seems to possess characteristics that challenge both ancient capabilities and modern understanding. The skull exists at the intersection of science and mystery, representing either proof that our ancestors possessed knowledge we've underestimated, or evidence that modern technology can create objects that perfectly mimic ancient craftsmanship while leaving no detectable traces of their true origin. Perhaps more importantly, the skull challenges our assumptions about what's possible and what's real. It reminds us that the world contains objects and phenomena that resist easy categorization, existing in the spaces between what we know and what we believe to be possible. Whether ancient masterpiece or modern enigma, the crystal skull of Belize continues to inspire wonder, debate, and investigation. It serves as a tangible reminder that some mysteries are more valuable unsolved than solved, continuing to challenge and inspire new generations of researchers, skeptics, and believers who encounter its perfect, impossible beauty. The crystal skull of Belize continues to challenge everything we think we know about ancient technology, modern capabilities, and the nature of reality itself. Do you think it's an impossible ancient artifact or a sophisticated modern creation? What would it mean for our understanding of history if it's genuinely pre-Columbian? Share your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more investigations into the objects that challenge the boundaries between possible and impossible. Until next time, remember, some mysteries are more beautiful than any explanation could be.